What's up guys, it's Mike with Shallow Reefing coming back at you with another video, and today I decided to upgrade my flow in my tank. Now I wanted to really get some gyres, and I wanted to get probably the max spec gyres, and then I looked at, breaking it down if I just got the standalone gyre with the controller versus two gyres in the controller versus the hydros and the controller, or the hydros wave engine, so I could use it with my octo pulses. And I mean, we were talking like on the cheap end, it was gonna be like $400 or $500 all the way up to $700, depending on what I want to do, especially if I put in the ice caps to make it cheaper. So I decided to buy a MacBook, and then that made my choice really easy. So what I did to get a gyre flow going in this tank here was to buy a Jebao. So I think we can all agree that the price of aquarium equipment has gotten kind of outrageous. So I'm deciding to go and try out a cheaper option. Now, I did have PP8s back in the day and PP4s from Jebao, and they pooped out on me quick. Now, I was looking at the reviews for the Sine Crossflow pump for the 150 model specifically, because it's good for about a 5-foot tank for sure, up to 6 foot. And I think that this will probably do me quite well. Now, for running me about 118 bucks, I think this should be, realistically, I'm thinking this is gonna last 2 years. I had my gyres before, the max spec ones, they lasted me 2 to 3 years before I sold the tank. So I'm hoping I can get the same amount of time with this. So today, what I'm gonna be doing is an unboxing and kind of like my initial impressions on this Crossflow pump. So let's get started and open up this box. All right, so I just cut this part open. And let's see, what do you get in the box? All right, pretty nicely packaged. Better than my Aquamax skimmer, so not bad. All of its foam around. Let's see, you got the power brick. You got the control. Oh man, that's that's pretty hard on there. Dang, that's a strong magnet. So the magnet, of course, this part is already kind of jacked up. I don't think it's gonna scratch the glasses on the outside of the glass. You got the part that connects to the wall, and then we got the pump itself and the directions. So I'll take the pump out and let's get it laid out. All right, so I put it on a whiteboard because this was on a black desk and it doesn't look very good black on black. So, the only thing I'm noticing is that this is just the one thing that's kind of a little bit messed up. I think what happened was in shipping, the magnets are actually really strong and kind of got, too close to one another and pulled together and then kind of shifted around in shipping. But I mean, it was packaged pretty nicely. I will give them that. This is 13 inches long and about 2.5 inches, 3 inches sticking off the wall. So it is kind of big. So that's why I got the SCP-150 as opposed to the 180, because the 180 is a little bit bigger. Actually, before I get started on putting it in the tank, I thought I'd show you guys how to take it apart. Now, if you look closely, right here, there's a cap. So you want to pop the cap off. Let's pop it off. Eventually, it's going to come off. I just got this thing off. There we go. Okay, so you'll see there's this little notch here, and it kind of splits this section, So if you put it back on, this notch right there needs to go back on there. Now, once you do that, it's pretty easy to just pop it off, and there'll be like a little O-ring on the side. So when you do this, you kind of just, oops, oh, dang it. So I'll get that later. So this little notch here kind of just slips in like that. No big deal. Same thing for this. It's already out. Now, when you have it, you can just simply twist and it comes out. Now you'll have the little propeller blade in there. Pretty easy. Slide that puppy back in like that. And then that's pretty much it. If you want to service it, obviously because of the fine wheels, you probably want to get a toothbrush. These are pretty fine. I think they're a little bit more fine than the max spec gyres. But overall, I think I'm gonna end up liking this. Keyword think. We'll see. Let me put it back together and let's get it on the tank. Now, one thing I want to bring up is I do notice like there is some film, not lubricant, I don't know, on this little O-ring or grommet, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not quite sure if it's reef safe, what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna wipe it down with like a cloth and then put it back together. So probably gonna wipe down everything that goes inside the tank with a cloth just to get any residue. All right, so let's put this puppy back together. Now, what we wanna do first is put on the other side over here. And you'll kind of see there's like a cross, it lines right up. There we go. And the thing with this is it actually has a lot of rotation in it. So you can see how I kind of have this back part blocked off and this one is going straight. I probably want to adjust it so that they're going the same direction. That way, I'm not quite sure which way they go right off the bat, but we'll figure that out once I put in the tank. Put the little grommet on each side. Now this is like the easy part. You just kind of slide, I'll show it on this angle, kind of just slide it in there. And then it just kind of fits in. Same with this side. You kind of just slide it in there. There you go. And it fits in. I'm pretty sure that this little, I don't know if you can see that, this little indent here, probably lines up with that one. That's what I would assume. So if I kind of just wiggle it around, I'm sure it'll get there. Now, back to this part, making sure that this section here is going down to the bottom. Popping that on. Eventually popping that on. There we go. And then popping the other one on. All right, that is probably one of the easiest things I've taken apart and put back together, because for some reason everything always seizes up. I'm sure once I get it and in the tank it's gonna seize up in like a couple of months and it's gonna be impossible to get this crap off because of all the coralline. But for now, that was really easy to, you know, put on, take apart, put back together. Okay, before I put it in, I gotta note that this cord is only about 6 feet long, but it does come with a little suction cup. Now I was gonna put it on the far side of the tank, but because it's on the far side of the tank, it's not gonna fit. So I gotta put it on the near side of the tank where all my power bricks are. I don't know if you can see all those micro bubbles, but apparently this was turned on full bore and it just and it was shooting straight down because I guess I have it flipped upside down and it was sending it up the tank. Yeah, I guess I kind of need to readjust this now. My God, this thing is on full blast and it is just ripping through this tank. Everything is getting kicked up right now. My euphyllia is really not happy right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn this puppy down. So this is on a 6 foot, 200 gallon tank, 30 inches wide, 21 inches tall, and it's on full blast on the constant mode where it kind of will, you know, I mean, that's pretty dang good for just one pump on. That's moving quite a bit of water. For just one pump, you can kind of see when it was full bore with all the pumps on, some of my octospawn, you know, closed up, and now it's on the pulse and wait, and then it will kick back on. Let's try a different mode. Let's try else and see how that does at full blast. So this is currently on else mode, and else mode is kind of like a random mode where it fluctuates throughout, you know, different intervals. Nothing too crazy. Now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different modes. So you have wave mode 1, which, you know, this one you have to use the knob in order to adjust the different flow rates and to see the wave. You can do wave 2, which is more of like a sine wave, where it pumps vary between 30 to 100% of their regular, you know, output during a sine wave. You got the H, which is the high flow mode. It's just a constant mode. Set it and it just will rip through it at whatever intensity you want. The else is a random mode. You know, this just does random things throughout it. And then the C, which is where it started off at, is like a shift to flow mode. And this kind of like, well, let me read it because I don't quite understand it. 2 pumps are needed to operate at the same time. When they shift wave and flow in cycles, P1 works, P2 stops. Okay, so it kind of just is like a little back and forth. So this one will go on, then the other one will go on. So if you have 2 of these, you probably want to do the C mode, but unfortunately I don't have 2 of these, so I'll probably just be doing the else mode. But before I do the else mode, I'm going to kick it up to do the high flow mode and see what it does. So this is the high flow mode all the way up intensity. Pretty solid, I would say. This is a 6-foot tank, and it is bringing the flow all the way down here, and you can kind of see it kicking up on the lip of the tank right here. Even will hit the back over there, bounces down. You can kind of see it kicking up everything on the bottom. And that's kind of what I was wanting. I wanted a nice sheet of, of water just going across the front, because, this is going to be my LPS area, soft coral area in the front, and then the octopulses will be in the back, kicking the flow over top of the SPS. Now, I will say this is 19 mil glass, and this is holding, fairly well. It's not as strong as the Octopulse 4s, the Octo 4s, but it's not weak by any means. I think it'll hold. Now, I think this is probably about the max thickness I would go with this. If I was, had like 20 mil glass or 21 mil glass or 1-inch glass, I would definitely go to the, the SCP-180, because it'll probably have a stronger magnet. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna guess it does. So overall, I think this is a pretty good pump, especially for the price. Only time will tell with the longevity of it, but I'm optimistic that it will do pretty well, especially with regular maintenance. I'll probably maintain them, about every 3 to 4 months. As far as, everything on the controls, it's super simple. If you have a Jebao pump, you've seen it before. You can do a light sensor for the nighttime. You have your speed that you can adjust here. By pushing it, it will go down. You have the different modes that you can go into. So this is that C mode, wave 1, where you can create a standing wave in the tank, wave 2, else mode, which is the random mode, high flow, which is the constant mode, and it looks like it even keeps the intensities throughout. Yeah, if you switch it up, it'll keep the intensities. You got the feed mode if you hold this on, and then you have a Wi-Fi lock where it's like the master versus slave, and it'll communicate with another one on the other side of the tank. Alright guys, so that is my initial review, my unboxing of the Jebao SCP-150. I think if you got a 6-foot reef, for sure buy one, maybe buy another one. I would rely on, probably more reliable pumps if I were to, run them as my main source of water flow. I really do like, the Gyre, but, we'll see what the longevity of these Jebao pumps are in the long run. I know these Octopulse 4s, they're pretty much bulletproof and super easy to clean. I know when I have to maintain the Gyre, it's gonna be a little bit of pain. So, I want you guys to come back here. If you're finding this review right now, see in 6 months, I'm gonna do a 6-month review on this, and I'm gonna do a 1-year review on this. In my book, if I get 1 year plus, I'm happy with it. I really would like to get 2 years, and I'm gunning for 2 years, but at the 1 year mark, I think I'm pretty happy with how much I put in it versus, if I wanted a Gyre for like friggin' 450, 500 bucks when it's not on sale. Alright guys, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, click the subscribe button and give me a comment below. Let me know how you like these videos and these initial reviews. Are they helping you out? And stick with me, because I might have a couple more budget friendly items I'm going to be putting on the tank. So guys, I will see you next time.